Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. I'm Carol. I work in the marketing team, and I'm really excited to have Joanne, who's one of our patients, with us today. So we've persuaded Joanne to come onto the page and tell us a bit about her journey and her story. So good morning, Joanne. Nice to speak to you.
Good morning, Carol, and everybody else. Nice to be here.
No, well, thank you so much for joining us. So we were just chatting before we started, and you've lost 2.5 stone with us. That is absolutely amazing. Well done.
I am absolutely delighted. I'm over the moon. It's the best thing I have done in a long time. So yeah,
Brilliant.
Couldn't be happier.
So what was it that kicked off your weight loss journey? Why did you decide to join us and lose some weight?
Well, since having my daughters, I knew that I'd been, I was definitely several stone heavier than I was, pre-pregnancies, and I'd been, carrying around that for a while. But I suppose a combination of factors in 2020. So I actually turned 50, and that sort of makes you think about, what am I going to be like in 10 or 20 years' time when still carrying this extra weight around? What's it going to do to all my bones and insides and everything? And then obviously with first lockdown, with like a lot of people, I actually, although my weight had been stable for a long time, I actually put on the best part of half a stone, and I was really struggling to get into all my clothes, and it was just there was no hiding the fact that I'm pear-shaped. My legs were like tree trunks, and it was really, really difficult to hide that. So I think that was pretty much what tipped me over the edge. Had to do something.
Okay, well, I think weight gain during lockdown is something that I think most of the British population will be able to resonate with. I think I think the stats show how many people have gained weight. So you decided to lose weight. Why did you decide to come to the Slimming Clinic over anything else that you perhaps could have done?
Well, actually, I've got some family members who work with the company, so it pretty much was the obvious choice. Obviously, I knew what had worked and what I needed to do. So yeah, obvious choice to go for the Slimming Clinic.
And obviously, we've got a more, so we offer a holistic approach, don't we? So I know the service, that the program that you took with us, you get the support of a doctor, dietitian, movement coach, and mindset coach. So the service is designed to tackle every area. How had you tried to lose weight before? And perhaps, I mean, obviously not asking you to name names, but had you tried to lose weight before, and how had that gone for you?
Yeah, I had. I don't know whether I'm allowed to name names, but obviously I had about 20 years ago, I had lost again 2.5 stone with probably the biggest slimming organisation in the UK.
I used to work for
and
them,
it had
so
taken. I had. So I had done that, and losing 2.5 stone had taken the best part of a year, and it had been hard work. It was slow at times, and I just couldn't face doing the points counting again. And I had actually signed up for the same thing just after I had my first daughter, and then I found out I was pregnant again, so I had to cancel my membership. But for some reason, I just couldn't get into the mindset of that anymore. So I think being a bit older, I think just needed something new.
But sometimes what's worked for us in the past doesn't always work this time round, does it? Like you say, it's and we're in a very different world, aren't we? Lockdown and everything. Obviously, we changed our service so it is remote, so that you can have the benefit of all of our practitioners on the phone, and I guess that's a bit of a different approach, isn't it? A much more personal approach, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what out of all the elements of the Transform program, what did you like the best?
Well, very early on, it was very apparent that it wasn't just about losing weight. It was definitely about, this was an investment for life, and it was much more around making you fitter and stronger for, once you'd lost your weight. And so, transform is exactly the right word to use for it, because it is about completely transforming, your body, your attitude, your mindset, in terms of, in my case, probably prioritizing my health over everything else that's going on, as with being a busy working mum and juggling so many plates, as we probably all know. So yeah, I actually wrote very early on in the program a Trustpilot review, just saying exactly that I was surprised that it was very much around making sure that once you got to your goal weight, that you were of the right physical composition to for the rest of your life, and to make the most of the opportunity. So that's definitely happened. So.
Okay, and actually, I know I said we wouldn't do this, but I'm just going to pop this question up. We have got a question of which of the pillars did you find the most helpful? Because I guess with your previous weight loss experience, the weight loss classes are a lot about food and diet, aren't they? You mentioned points, and potentially a little less on exercise and mindset, and obviously no medical at all. What out of the 4 pillars, which did you find the most helpful?
I did have sessions with all the coaches to start off with, and I decided to focus on. I couldn't say one, because it was actually 2. It was the movement and the diet coaches that helped me the most.
Okay.
So I've from the movement point of view, I was always the one to be picked last at school in terms of games, because I haven't got the physique for exercise particularly, and then so that was really helpful, obviously, just getting some practical support and encouragement, and in some cases stern talking to, and then on the diet side, one of the big things that's always been a problem is, for the last 20 years I've had IBS. Right. So that's always affected how well I've slept, and then that obviously then affects what you eat the next day, and how you feel, and how energetic you feel in terms of actually doing some fitness. So Leslie really helped me resolve some IBS issues, and again, that's been transformative in terms of how you feel when you get up the next day, when you've had a decent night's sleep. So yeah, it has actually, I know it sounds corny, but it has been a revelation in terms of how much better I feel all around. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So what exercises did Phil get you doing? Are you you got a new habit you can tell us about?
Well, so we've always had a cross trainer. I just haven't been particularly good at using it. So whenever I can, particularly on the days when I'm working at home, I try and be on it for 7 o'clock in the morning, because I know that if I don't do it first thing, it just doesn't happen. So so me and Heart Dance is now a sort of a firm favourite. First thing in the morning, gets me going. 20 minutes, half an hour, and then that's my exercise for the day, and it's all done and dusted, and I can start work. So that's been a definite new step in the right direction. And I need to, and now I've lost my weight, and then now need to concentrate on sort of doing more resistance training as well. So I've got that on my list of things to continue doing as well. So
yeah, what a great way to start the day, though. All those positive endorphins going through your body, and like you say, exercise, tick, you can get on with the rest of your day. Fantastic. That's really good. And we talked a little bit about the fact that we now offer a remote service. So you would have had one-to-one appointments with with your the dietitian, the mindset coach, movement coach, and your doctor. And you've already mentioned, I know you've got a family and you're very, very, very busy at work. Did that all sort of work around your schedule? Were you able to make it work with what else you had to do?
Yeah, the appointments were flexible in terms of when we were both available. So no, it wasn't any problem sort of fitting things in. And it was, the fitness and diet ones are more frequent, but they're half an hour, and quite often you don't need the full half hour. It's just sort of a check-in. But having them regularly is actually a good incentive to think, well, it really makes you think about, well, I really need to do X, Y, or, not eat that, or get my exercise in this week, because, it's sort of like, knowing that someone's going to, be questioning why you did or didn't do something is a definite reason. I actually got up, I had a call scheduled with Phil on the December the 27th. So I was actually up the day after Boxing Day exercising before my call with Phil, knowing that I had, what have you been doing over Christmas? I actually lost weight over Christmas because I just was running around trying to do too much. But I was actually,
That's amazing.
Yeah, so...
and presumably you didn't feel you'd missed out. It wasn't that you went without your Christmas dinner or anything.
No. But, just my portion sizes were a lot smaller than they would have been. So, yeah, I still had the variety. I just probably didn't quite eat the quantity I would have done in the past. But yeah, it's fine. It's, again, just something else that I've learned to do, as in what you can get by on.
Yes, and I think that's where Leslie's so helpful, isn't she? Our dietitian, talking about you mentioned an underlying condition that she's helped you with, but I think she does stretch you, doesn't she? In the Facebook group, she's doing recipe demonstrations, and she'll put together ingredients that you think, gosh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but it just something new, isn't it? It just gives you a bit of a bit of variety, because sometimes dieting can be a bit boring, can't it?
So one of the big shocks I had fairly early on was realizing I was going to have to survive on 1,200 calories a day. So Leslie very much helped me work out what was the best way to use that 1,200 calories to not feel hungry. And it was successful. It was a case of making sure that you get value for content in terms of your calories. So eating 2 rich tea biscuits, as I would have done in the past, was just out the window. So, but it's a good habit to learn. So
it does make you consider, doesn't it? Makes you, as you say, is it worthy of spending the calories on this versus something else that you could spend them on? So obviously, you mentioned that you started your program with us during lockdown. Was there any particular moment that you thought, oh gosh, this is just too much, a real struggle, and how did you overcome that? Because you clearly have, because you've been so successful in losing the weight.
Have I struggled? Not particularly, no. I think it's gone extremely well. The only slight issues I had was in the first few weeks, I wasn't sleeping very well, but the doctor I had was very reassuring in the fact that it would pass, which it did. So things settled down, and so that was one thing. About the 1,200 calories, that was a bit of a moment that I had. Was there anything else? No, not really. No, it's just fitted in really well, so I wouldn't say there's any drawbacks at all, to be honest.
Okay, and you mentioned your family. How's it gone with eating with them? Another question we've got here is from Sharon. Do you think any other members of your family have benefited from what you've learned? How's it worked with your family life? My husband was very supportive in the fact that he does most of the cooking, and so he did say I had to make a mention of my personal chef, but all celebrities have them. So.
So obviously he's lost weight at the same time, and
interesting.
we were the example is I told Leslie was we were cooking, we all like a particular Jamie Oliver recipe, a pasta recipe, and I went back, and so we're a family of 4, and we were cooking the full recipe with all full ingredients, 500 grams of pasta. And when you actually look at the recipe, it's for 6. And we were like, so we were eating a recipe for 6 between, primarily 4 of us, because we've got a bit of a fussy eater as the youngest. Sorry, 3 of us.
Right.
So actually then it was sort of like, well, okay, right, well, we don't need all of that. So it was very much around portion control. So we've all learned that, really. So and obviously with our daughters, we just said we're just trying to eat healthier, and that was the explanation for it. But and we've got more variety in our diet as well, actually, because it's made us start to do more different obviously different recipes and things. So it's been good.
Excellent. And what would you say has been the best thing about losing the weight?
Just how it makes you feel. It just makes you just far more, you've just got a better outlook on life, and I obviously have just more energy and just feel a lot happier about myself than I had previously. So it was always, I suppose, I got to the point of sort of, in sort of convincing myself it was okay to be the weight that I was, because I could disguise it reasonably well with the clothes that I had, but it was actually the one thing on, obviously you have it with all the slimming clinic programs, is having your health assessment. The health assessment, the result was my body composition was 48% fat, was the other sort of like moment of, I've just got to do something about this. And it was definitely, the moment of, sheer, like, it really, really made me determined that I was going to do, I was going to be successful this time. And so everybody knows what it's feel like. It just does feel fantastic having lost weight. And so yes, I'm looking forward to this summer, and hopefully seeing some people I haven't seen in a while, friends and family, and hopefully getting 1 or 2 compliments. So
no, I'm sure. Yeah, no, you've done amazingly well. So obviously you've mentioned people coming out, getting out and about a bit more now, and certainly our phones. I was talking to my colleague that looks after inbound calls, and we have been so busy this month with, I think, people realizing that they are having to come out of doors, meet friends, family. They've got, people have got weddings and holidays in the diary. So if anyone was thinking about joining us, what would you say to them?
Just do it, as the famous advert says. Yeah, I suppose thinking about it, I probably procrastinated for a good, well, more than 2 years, and I should have just got on with it and just done it ages ago. It's and I am, obviously highly I can't say enough in terms of, and anybody who asks at work, I'm starting to say, well, actually it was this, and it was the support that I got that made the difference. So so hopefully I'll I can't recommend it enough. So it's definitely a fantastic investment in your future lifestyle, and you're just being healthy for here on in. So
yeah, and I actually think that's a really, really smart way of looking at it. It's an investment, isn't it, in you and your health, and and also your family, because your family have benefited from it as well, haven't they? With not necessarily having any weight to lose, but as you say, eating a bit healthier and more variety. Really interesting. Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Joanne.